Hey guys, it's Tina and I am back and I am here with another car chat. Wait, why am I zooming in? I'm like, hi! I am here with another car chat video, and this one was requested from you guys on Instagram and also on Twitter in regards to a post that I made on Instagram. I posted a video of me blocking out the Z palette logo on my Z palettes, and I mentioned some other brands that I won't be supporting anymore. And a lot of you guys weren't aware of the Z palette fiasco, the debacle that occurred a few days ago. It's a little bit of stale news now, but a lot of you guys seem to not be aware of it. And I also mentioned a few more brands that I will not be supporting and that you won't see on my channel, and a lot of you were confused as to why, and you wanted to hear what I had to say about it just in case you wanted to take the same stance as me. And honestly, I never truly made a video like this specifically about the brands that I don't support and that I won't feature on my channel, because it's a very personal choice. I feel like choosing to support or not support a brand is up to you. After all, it's your money, so it's up to you what you want to do. And I don't necessarily want to be the driving influence behind that, because I want you to make that decision on your own. But it makes sense that I would share my viewpoint so that you can have enough receipts, you know, to make up your own mind. So you can do your own research. That's my whole thing. I want people to do their own research, have some critical thinking behind it, and then make your own decisions. So I'm gonna share my views, and then you can look more into it and figure out what you want to do moving forward. But I don't want to force my views on anybody else, you know what I mean? So there are quite a few brands that I don't support, don't purchase. You won't see them on my channel, so I'll just give a quick rundown of that. But I think the most involved one would be Natasha Denona, but we'll get into that at the end. But the first brand I don't support, and it was the first one on my list, is Limecrime. It's pretty self-explanatory why I don't support Limecrime. If you know any of the history with Limecrime, you can understand why I don't purchase products from them and don't support them. But I think my history with Limecrime goes back a few more years than a lot of people. I used to blog every day, you know, the fancyface.blogspot.com. That's how I started off in the beauty community, was by blogging. So I was a blogger. I did my swatches and my reviews. I took photos. I did looks. And anyone who followed me back then knew that's what I did. So I was in the blogger community. Limecrime started off by selling loose pigments. And I think a lot of online companies got their start in loose pigments back in the day, because MAC loose pigments was such a big deal. People started trying to replicate and duplicate it for a very low price. So there was a company, I forget if it was TBK? It's 3 letters, but it starts with T. I forget what it is, but I'll put it down below. They used to sell just loose mica pigments, and mica is a raw ingredient. It's actually meant to be mixed with binders and fillers to make a final product. So it really shouldn't have been used by itself. But a lot of these companies were just selling loose mica pigments. Like Naked Cosmetics, I don't know if you guys remember them. Are they still around? They sold loose pure mica pigment, and I'm like, but that doesn't make sense, because you need a binder in it for it to hold it together and for it to adhere to your lids. So selling loose mica pigment is not really doing anything. You're just selling a raw ingredient at that point. And that's how Limecrime started out, by selling these pigments. Now the issue that happened with Limecrime is that people were like, wait a minute, you're just repackaging the wholesale pigments from that T company, the 3-letter T company, and you were just repackaging it and reselling it at a hiked up price. And it was true, there were a lot of similarities between her pigments that she was claiming was a custom formula and blah 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 blah. But that's how it started. And then she added lipsticks to her lineup, and there were like a few bad reviews out there on different blogs. And she sent out a cease and desist letter to these bloggers telling them to remove their posts. Like, she would send products out for people to test out, just like they do now. And if she didn't get a positive review or positive feedback, she went off and she would start slandering these people. This is Dodear, the owner of Limecrime. She would start slandering the bloggers, and she sent out cease and desist letters to remove negative reviews. And that was the end of it for me, because you're not a honest company that can take negative feedback and use it to improve your product. Instead, you're going to attack bloggers. And it was just a part of the sisterhood of bloggers that we weren't going to support such a grimy, slimy company. And then, of course, the whole debacle happened with the data breach, the security breach on our website. You have the rusted pans of eyeshadow. All that happened after I stopped supporting her anyway. So I didn't stop supporting them because of the rust and the data breach. So I stopped supporting Limecrime years ago when they had awful blogger relations. And when you actually threaten litigation because you got a negative review, what? Like, I was done right there. And then, of course, everything that happened after her malicious attacks on customers, people with negative reviews, she'd go under a pseudonym, an assumed name. She would have these ghost accounts that would attack negative reviewers. So that's kind of a brief summation of the Limecrime sordid history. That's why I don't support Limecrime, and I haven't supported Limecrime for years. And that's not to say I don't have some products in my collection still, like the Z palettes. I still have those products, and I'm not gonna throw them out because I spent my money on those, and those were expensive palettes, and I have quite a few of them, and I'm not just gonna throw them out and be wasteful. I already spent my money, so it's not like I'm hurting the owner's pockets by throwing them out. I'm hurting my own pockets because now I have to go out and repurchase other brands. But now, moving forward, if I'm gonna recommend a magnetic palette, it would be from a different brand, and there are quite a few out there in the market. Since we're speaking about Z palette, I jumped ahead without giving you the background story. So for those of you who don't know, a Z palette is simply an empty magnetized cardboard palette that you can place your eyeshadow pans that you have depotted from other eyeshadow palettes and you want to store them all in one place, or perhaps you bought single eyeshadow pans, say from MAC or Makeup Geek, Makeup Forever, Anastasia Beverly Hills. So all those brands that have the single eyeshadows, you can place those eyeshadows in these palettes. And you can also make your own customized eyeshadow pans by pressing pigments, or maybe you want to melt down your lipstick. Whatever you want to do, the Z palettes are perfect for that. And that was the whole premise behind the actual product and the brand, because so many people had started to depot their eyeshadows. This was way back in the day when we used to depot the MAC eyeshadows from their little pots, and you do your back to MAC, and you needed a magnetic palette to put them in, so that's how Z palette was born. Now keep that all in mind because it ties in with a new product that Z palette is releasing called the Z Potter, which is cute. It's a play on words. A Z palette, now it's a Z Potter. And it's an induction plate, so a hot plate that uses induction to heat up metal. So if you wanted to depot, say, a cardboard packaging, a cardboard palette from, let's say, Anastasia Beverly Hills that has a lot of cardboard packaging, you would put the palette on that induction plate and it would heat up the metal and thereby heat up the adhesive, and you could easily just pop the metal pans now out of the cardboard packaging because the glue is loose, and then you can place them in your Z palette. That is the whole premise of her new product. So Z Palette went ahead and paid for a sponsored post on Trend Mood One's Instagram. And Trend Mood is a beauty blogger. She's kind of the TMZ of beauty products. So if you want to know about upcoming releases, new products that are coming out, you want to know dates, you want to see swatches, you would go to Trend Mood One. And she's gotten into a lot of heat with some of her releases too. She's the one that outed Jacqueline's Hill Morphe palette before they even wanted to make it known that they were coming out with a collaboration. So she's gotten into a lot of hot water herself for posting about products before they were ready to release information, like press information. So she kind of gets the inside scoop, sometimes, but sometimes it's a little bit unscrupulous the way she does it. So she herself gets into a lot of trouble with releasing information about products before they go to market, before companies are ready to release information on the product. So that's another topic for another day. So in essence, Trendmood is where you can find out about the newest products that are going to be released on the market. So Z Palette went ahead and paid for this post so she could spread awareness about this product that's coming out, this new product they're coming out with on Trendmood's page, right? So Trendmood posted the video, blah blah blah. People are like, how much is it? It's $85 for an induction hot plate. So people were like, hold up, what? This is too expensive, it's an overpriced hot plate. Like, people were making comments like that, not to Z Palette themselves, but on the Trendmood post. So Zena, the owner of Z Palette, who runs the Instagram page for Z Palette, comes on and gets defensive and starts replying to the commenters on the Trendmood page, right? And it wasn't like she was commenting and saying, no, I know it's a high price point, but this is the research that went behind it, or this is what you're getting for your money. Like, it wasn't like that. She was actually being defensive and taking things personally and starting to lash out on these commenters. And she was saying, it started out a little snarky, but it wasn't outright rude, but it started to escalate. She started commenting these rude things to people. Like, she said, like, she wouldn't want to date somebody, and she was saying how, oh, you just can't afford it, and oh, we don't need your money anyway, and it's only for people who are not cheap, and all kinds of things, right? And I'm like, ooh, it wasn't like a one-off comment. It was just continuous, and she was berating the commenters. It definitely came off like somebody had a little bit too much to drink and got Twitter finger happy, right? She was just going back and forth with commenters, and I'm like, yo, just fall back. At this point, I'm like, because I was reading the post, I was like, ooh, because I don't like drama in my own life, but let me find some drama online. I'm like, ooh. Right? So she was going back and forth, and it was escalating and getting it made no sense to me. And everybody else was like, oh, maybe it's a hack, because, you know, some accounts get hacked and then they send out nasty messages, and then you're like, no, this is not from the actual owner, it's from somebody hacking the page. They were like, no, they're not hacked, directly from the source, they're not hacked, this is the owner responding, or whoever is running the Instagram page responding, right? And then they posted a somewhat explanation on their own Instagram page, saying that they're standing up for bullying because they put in a lot of work and research and innovation into creating their product, and they were just sticking up for themselves. And I'm like, hold up, what? So it wasn't an apology for going off on customers. It was just like, yo, I did what I did, and you know, I'm like, ooh. And then they actually did an interview. Was it with 17 magazine or Allure? It was one of those online magazines. They did an interview because people were like, what are you saying? What is going on? And even in that post from Zena, the owner, she said she's not going to apologize for that debacle because she stands by everything she said, and she was simply defending her product. So I said, oh, not say a word. So a lot of people, she experienced a lot of backlash, and I'm a part of that. Like, you're not gonna come here and just be outright rude to your customers and think I'm gonna promote you on my social media, on my channel. You're not gonna, no, you're done. So I got my black nail polish up because the palettes are black, and I just went right over the Z Palette logo. So I'm not throwing them out, but you won't be shown in my videos, you won't be advertised in my videos, and I will promote your competitors before I promote you. That's what happened with Z Palette. You can Google it, you can see the screenshots of the various different responses, the comments on the video. You can see all those and read them for yourself. Make up your mind after doing that. But that's what happened with Z Palette. So Z Palette get done, cut off, no, you're done, right? Next up we have, let's touch on GERARD Cosmetics, because that should be an easy one. GERARD Cosmetics is an online brand that was started by a woman named Jen. I don't know if it's her husband or if it's just her, whatever. The main face of the company is Jen, and she got a little bit of notoriety by collaborating with influencers on different lipstick shades. So it was mainly lipsticks. They were called, was it Whitening Lightning? Yeah, that was what they were before. But they really got a little bit of a boost in social media and on YouTube by collaborating with Jaclyn Hill. I think it was one of her first collaborations. They did one with Manny MUA, right? And we'll get into that. But so that's what they're known for, and they work with various influencers. They're one of those that have the affiliate codes and the affiliate links, right? So Karina Kaboom, who used to do makeup reviews, she was a smaller channel. She did a review of one of their lipsticks, and she was talking about the reaction she had on her lips. She said there was peeling, there was burning. She had like a negative reaction to the product. So she was doing her review. Obviously, you're gonna say your experience. You're gonna talk about your experience. And Manny MUA and the owner of GERARD Cosmetics, Jen, because they were working on their collaboration at the time, Manny MUA was hanging out with Jen, whatever, and they were on Snapchat. And what they were doing was going through negative reviews of GERARD Cosmetics. They were watching these videos and laughing, kikiing about these negative reviews. And one of these videos happens to be the Karina Kaboom video. Now, Manny MUA was saying, oh, we're just watching these haters talking smack about the GERARD Cosmetics lipsticks. And the owner, Jen, she said it kind of under her breath, but it was loud enough for us to hear what she said. She said, oh, she's the ugliest person I've ever seen, about Karina Kaboom, because they were watching that video at the time. Manny MUA posted this on his Snapchat. Now, I know how Snapchat works. If you don't want to post the video, you don't have to post it. It's not like it's live and anything that you say in that moment is caught no matter what. It's something that you record and post, right? He posted that video and that comment, and he was like kikiing with Jen, right? There was a whole blow up about Jen, the owner of GERARD Cosmetics, calling Karina Kaboom a customer, a paying customer that happened to have a negative reaction to her lipsticks. She called Karina the ugliest person she's ever seen. Now, what made it even worse is that Manny MUA and his minions, because he has a huge following, and they're young girls, they're easily influenced, they went after Karina Kaboom and started bullying her. Like, she was if you read the comments on her videos after that went live, it was so nasty, and all she was doing was defending herself, like, yo, the owner of GERARD Cosmetics called me ugly, like, what the hell? And the backlash she got from Manny MUA's minions and GERARD Cosmetics supporters was just, it was shameful. So much so that Jaclyn Hill herself denounced GERARD Cosmetics and pulled herself away from a future upcoming collaboration that they had. She went through legal proceedings and actually removed herself from all affiliation with GERARD Cosmetics. Even the colors that she had with them before, she was like, stop using my name, rename the color, I don't care if you use the color, but take my name out of it. So she completely severed ties with GERARD Cosmetics over this. Now, she made comments on her Snapchat. She never actually made a video about it, and she never came forthright and said certain things, but she severed ties, and it was all stemming from that. You're assuming based on what happened and what she was saying, and she's not going to show Manny MUA's collaboration that came out a few weeks after that. She was like, she's not going to show it on her channel, so collateral damage is that she's not going to support Manny MUA's video. Now, there's a fire truck going on, so we're going to let that happen. So that's what happened with GERARD Cosmetics, and that's why I won't support GERARD Cosmetics. Nasty customer service to me that is so blatant and in your face, and they're unapologetic and they're not even remorseful, that's when I'm like, nope, cut, done, you're gone. We're done here. So that's GERARD Cosmetics. That's why I don't support them. Again, look this up for yourself. Do the research. It's on the internet. It's staying on the internet, right? So that's what happened. Next up, Jeffree Cosmetics. I think this goes without saying, but it's interesting because it wasn't even the racist comments and the racist remarks that came to light that made me not want to support this person and this brand and his products. It's just who he is as a person, how he comes off and how he portrays himself. I just can't jive with him. I never liked him even before all this. I was not a fan of him, and therefore I wasn't a fan of the cosmetics. To me, Jeffree Cosmetics really gets massive support from those who are fans of his, which makes sense. That's how it starts out. That's why they're a online famous brand. It's not sold in stores, so it's not like the regular consumer can find him. You would have to be searching for Jeffree Cosmetics to find him, right? So I was not a fan of him as a person. He smokes weed on camera. He has a very, very susceptible audience. They're they're teenagers, preteens, and young adults, and I feel like they're easily influenced, and certain behaviors I can't get behind and I can't jive with. And I feel like promoting his products, buying his products, is actually supporting that whole persona. So I wasn't interested to begin with. The videos came out with him, you know, using racial slurs, you know, talking about throwing battery acid on a black woman's skin to, you know, lighten her skin tone. He did all of that, right? He has misogynistic tendencies as well. When he was ready to beat Makeup by Shayla's ass, and he was going on about how he was gonna drag her and how he will beat her down, and I was like, ooh. And he's just very aggressive in his approach to anyone he considers to be against him or his brand. In fact, the one thing that really sealed the deal for me was his reaction to Rocky Roadkill, who is a fan of his and who purchased one of the highlighters from, I think it was like an IMAX show, one of those beauty conventions, and they purchased I think it was, maybe it was Comic-Con, but he purchased a highlighter and it happened to be broken. And he was disappointed. Jeffree Star commented on Rocky Roadkill's video and was just so aggressive and so nasty. And I'm like, you didn't even watch his video, because all he did was praise you and talk about how much he loves you and how much it hurt him that he can't enjoy your product because it's broken. He wasn't bashing you. He wasn't bashing your customer service. He was simply saying how disappointed he is that he can't love on this product the way he really wanted to, because he was excited to try it. And all you did was attack that poor guy. And you sent your minions over to attack him. Because, again, another following that it's like they're so mindless that they're like, oh, somebody's talking bad about Jeffree, we're going to go over there and attack Rocky Roadkill. Poor Rocky. So I was done right there. So that was an easy thing to do, because I'm not even interested in any of his products, to be honest. Like, they're not my thing. They're just not my style. So it's an easy no buy for me. So boom, done deso. Jeffree Star, goes without saying. Again, do your own research, figure out what you want to do. That is not my zoo, and it's not my monkey. So that's your monkey. So deal with your monkey. So that's Jeffree Star. Beautylish. A lot of people were confused about this, and I think I only mentioned it once ever, and I was never outright about it. Again, I'm not outright about these choices because I feel like people should do their own research and make up their own mind. Now, I was a strong supporter of Beautylish because their customer service is excellent. Like, they have the best customer service. Their shipping is phenomenal. Like, their delivery, their shipping, oh my god. And they package their products so well, and you get free shipping over $30. So as far as customer service, they're really top notch, and I think a lot of people should try to mirror themselves off of Beautylish's customer service. The problem me have with Beautylish now, Beautylish, there was an event, was it IMATS? Yeah, I think it was IMATS, but their booth, or it was the makeup show, I forget what it was, but their booth was all about Jeffree Star. So they were just... Now Beautylish, oh, I should mention this. Beautylish is an online website that carries various brands, a lot of niche brands as well. So a lot of brands that are up and coming, that are exciting, they're new and innovative, and they feature these brands on their website. So it's an easy way to try out these niche brands that you just can't find in store, like at Ulta or Sephora, Nordstrom, Macy's, those kinds of stores. So they have like Natasha Denona, we'll talk about that. They have Jeffree Star. They have like Lit Cosmetics. They also have, they have various different brands. So Jeffree Star is one of those niche brands, right? But their entire display at the makeup show, that the makeup convention, whatever show it was strictly Jeffree Star, and they posted this on their Instagram. And a lot of people, because remember, Jeffree Star is a polarizing figure, a lot of people were commenting that they can't believe that Beautylish is supporting a racist and misogynist and blah blah blah, right? And a lot of people were posting on this, and their response to the critique or the outcry from their customers was, oh, we're not gonna stop carrying the Jeffree Star brand because numbers don't lie and it shows that we're selling a lot of the product, so we're not gonna just stop because there's some issue, some social issue with Jeffree Star, racist or not. We're not gonna stop. Should I use that light? We're not gonna stop carrying the brand because of these issues. And I'm like, oh, okay, Beautylish, strike two, because them have a strike with me from Natasha Denona, but we're not getting at that yet. So that was like, I was like, oh. And they kept posting Jeffree Star and really pushing Jeffree Star, and I'm like, even though your customers, loyal customers, said, hey, we don't appreciate, we need you to stand up and do something, and they're like, no, our numbers show that it's really popular, it's really selling, like the profit margin, it's crazy, so therefore we're not going to stop bringing the brand. I'm like, money speak louder than values and morals, so go on do your thing. However, I can speak with my own money, and I am not going to support your business, your website, or anything. Even if I don't buy Jeffree Star, I would purchase from other brands on their website. And after that, I was like, no, you're not getting none of my money at all. None of it at all. You're not getting, like, Wayne Goss has his brushes on there, and that's where I would get my brushes for Wayne Goss. My last purchase from them was the, what did it name, the ear brush. And I was like, but now that I know how you feel, that you put money and profit before your values, I'm done. I'm done. I'm cut off. I don't want no more. I'm done this. So that was it for me with Beautylish. Again, it's a personal choice of mine. It may not be that significant to you. You may not even consider that to be an issue, and you will continue to purchase from Beautylish. That's your choice. And that's why I didn't really say anything about Beautylish, because I feel like it wasn't necessarily like they went off on a customer, or it wasn't something like that. It was more, to me, I don't want to align myself with a company that puts money before values. You know what I mean? So that's how it happened with Beautylish. Who else? So we've covered Limecrime, GERARD Cosmetics, Jeffree Star, and Beautylish. Now let's get into Natasha Denona. And this one is a personal problem I have with Natasha Denona. This is a personal one, which is why I saved it for last. Natasha Denona is a very expensive indie brand that made its debut on her own website. So Natasha Denona is Croatian born. Well, we'll get into that, but she is she's located in Israel. I know she's located in New York now, I think. Hey, down the street. So she's in New York now, but she has, her company was based out of Tel Aviv in Israel, right? And she had her products on her Natasha Denona website, but she really blew up when Jaclyn Hill mentioned her in a video, and it kind of went viral. Her product sold out. It was so many people were interested because Jaclyn Hill mentioned her, right? So her 28 eyeshadow palettes are $239. You hear me? $239 for her palettes. Obviously to Jaclyn Hill, that's a drop in the bucket. Like, that's nothing. She eats those. She sold out her palettes, and then Beautylish got wind of this popularity. Beautylish, you know them love money. So they said, oh, we're gonna start bringing Natasha Denona. So Beautylish took her up and started pushing her palettes. When the palettes were released on Beautylish, like I said, I liked Beautylish. I was like, oh, Beautylish, I want some about a 2 palette. She has a green one, a green brown, and a purple blue. Anyway, I'm about a 2 of them. I did my swatches. So I did swatches first. Posted the swatches, just swatches. Then I did a look. I think I did 2 looks maybe, using the palettes. And then I followed up with my review video. I actually like to use the products first and then do a review, and it's a lot of eyeshadows to go through, right? So in my review, it was not a positive one. Let's just say it was not a positive review. It was not bashing the product. It's like the eyeshadows themselves. It was really about the price point and the value for the consumer. Now, most of the comments on that video was like, yo, no sir, I wish I'd go with our dear price, right? Most of the comments, and I don't need anyone to be up my ass or kiss my ass, because the point, what I do is I give you pros and cons, and you determine from that what you want to do. So I don't need nobody to agree with me. You can't disagree with me. No, easy disagree with me, but don't disagree with me and be like, oh, shut up, you're stupid, you're being negative. I need valid counter arguments. You know what I mean? I like critical thinkers, and I'm big on critical thinking. So don't just come at me with, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. No, what's your counter argument? I'm about a debate. What's your counter argument? Counter all my points that I made in the video, and we can talk about it. Now, one minion came on that video, and she was like, oh, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. What's your name? Makeup Junkie 101 something. The funny thing is, it's a screen name that a lot of people have a similar screen name to, which she get mixed up in that thing. But anyway, so her minion came on my video and made a little snide ass comment, and then, you know, the initial comment was, oh, she reformulated, there are no parabens in our eyeshadow them no more, you don't know what you're talking about. And as a matter of fact, she has the clear insert in the palette has the names of the eyeshadows on it. These are things that I was saying in my video that I didn't like about the palette. And she said, Ray, she go on, right? I'm like, all right. But she came off in an aggressive manner, like she was being rude. It wasn't like, hey, you probably got an old eyeshadow, older formula, because now she reformulated and now they don't have parabens, and the actual packaging now has the divider with the names on it. If she had come at me like that, I'd have been like, oh, okay, makes sense. But the video is up already. Like, the video is posted. It's not like I'm gonna take down the video, right? So that's how she came off, and I was good. Like, I was like, all right, say what you say. But then she started going in on other commenters that had things to say. Like, she was being rude to other commenters that made their own points known. So I was like, no, that person I need for going about them business. They were just getting, it was escalating, right? I'm gonna block her now. I'm gonna block her. I'm gonna just start delete her, comment them, especially to other people, because people were getting worked up, and I don't want that. I don't need that on my, I don't need you to come on my channel and get aggravated by some troll, right? Some Natasha Denona fan. So she did it and she won, right? And I said to her in one of her posts, I was like, it's interesting the way you're going in. You would think that you're Natasha Denona herself, the way you getting hype. Like, you getting a hyphy, like it's your own brand, right? So, that one. So remember this, I give you the full story, because This was last year sometime. So it's some time has passed, right? It was some time since the whole thing happened, but people asked about it, so here I am. And I didn't do this initially because here's my thing. Again, it's me. It's something that happened to me personally, and it's my choice not to support her. If you guys want to support me and therefore not support her, I appreciate that. But I don't want you, you know what I mean? Like, I want you to make your own mind up and not go at, like, I'm not Manny MUA. I'm not Jeffree Star. I'm not one of these people that want you to go on my behalf and go attack somebody. You know what I mean? So all that went on, and a couple of days later, like 2 or 3 days later, Natasha Denona posted a picture of her palettes, right, on her own Instagram. And somebody said on her Instagram, hey, check out the Fancy Faces review of this palette and see what somebody with an honest review really says. So now the minion went on that post and responded to that person that made that comment about go and watch my video, how her video makes no sense and she's full of bullshit. Ooh, right? Now I know this was a Friday because I had school on Saturday and I actually had a midterm, so that's how I know it was like a year ago, because they're all midterm time now. I had a midterm I was studying for that Friday night, right? And I just so happened to go on Instagram. You know, you take a break from studying, and I went on Instagram and my DM was blowing up. Like, people were like, Tina, you know, see where the girl I talk to, say, Miss Ram, I'm gonna go check. So I went on the post and I'm like, ooh. So I commented on the post. I said, ooh, like, I'm snarky. I'm like, oh my, right, as myself, oh my. Now Natasha and our minion circumvent me. The minion's name is Danielle Rose Indigo. Not Indigo, but Indigo. So, she said, I have the screenshots, so I'll put the screenshots in this video, but I'm just gonna read like a quick synopsis. I'm not gonna read everything, but the Danielle girl said her video makes no sense and she's full of bullshit. She liked the palette when she did her swatch video, but then made a bullshit video because she purchased the old palettes that weren't paraben free. Bye, girl. You think I went and said, hey, Beautylish, send me the old ass palette because that's what I want. I bought the palette because that's what I thought the palette was. I got the palette delivered to me. The ingredients list says parabens. That's what I said in my video. And I'm going to insert where I mentioned these things in my video so you can see what I was saying. Like, I wasn't being malicious. It's simple. It has parabens in it. It's in the ingredients. Right? And then I also brought up that it had talc in it. Because, like it or not, there are people with talc sensitivities and there are people with paraben sensitivity. I happen to be one of those people that has sensitivity to paraben. So my eyelids will get swollen, like they will literally get swollen. My eyes will burn and they will water, and it will go on for a couple of days if I use eyeshadows or products, even products just period, with parabens in it. I recently used a foundation with parabens in it, and it made my eyes still burn. Even though it was not on directly on my eyes, it still made my eyes burn. So I brought that up to say, if you have an issue with Taliban, can you imagine? Talc products or parabens, be mindful it's in this thing. And then she says here, well, guess what? I just purchased 3 of Natasha's $28 eyeshadow palette and everything is now different. So you're saying that your palette is different from mine. So you're agreeing that your palette is different from mine. Understand what I'm thinking? You see what I'm saying? Then she goes, it's written all over the ingredients that the products are cruelty-free and paraben-free. And I never said anything about being cruelty-free. She says the names of the colors are on the plastic sleeves too. That girl, me, she talk about, needs to learn how to do more research before she makes a video and making no type of sense. So I'm just there like, what? it's that girl needs she said no, that girl needs to learn how to do more research before she makes a video making no type of sense. So I bought a palette. The palette came in a box. The box had the ingredients on it. The ingredients clearly state paraben and talc. Doesn't say anything about being cruelty free. Has a plastic sleeve that doesn't have the name on it. The names of the eyeshadows were only on the box that the palette came in, not anywhere on the palette. But me need to do my research. One more research you do want my blood clot, my girl. What me need to do? Come in your yard, come take your palette them. The one them where you have versus what me have. Oh, me for talk about something I don't have. Listen, this is what I'm there like. How am I supposed to talk about something I don't have? Hello? You don't have no sense, my girl. You are talking about me now, I make no sense. You have no sense? And then she's like, oh, yeah, there's so many people that received their palettes from Beautylish too and said the same ingredients are different and paraben free. Now let me give you a little bit of history about when I did this video. I went online. I searched on Beautylish for an ingredient list. That was the first thing I did. Beautylish did not have an ingredient list when I bought my products. I went on Natasha Denona's website searching for an ingredient list. Nothing about the ingredients were on her website. So I had to wait till I got the palette for the ingredients list. And I post the box with the ingredients list with where the parabens are in her product. Boom. Right? So that's all I had to go on. And mind you, I was trying to figure out who Natasha Denona was as well, because I was trying to figure out why are her products so high priced, because I've never heard of her. I have no idea who she is. Like when Charlotte Tilbury was releasing her products and we heard about Charlotte Tilbury coming out with products, and I'm like, who is Charlotte Tilbury? When I went and searched for Charlotte Tilbury, I got websites showing that she worked for Tom Ford Beauty and, you know, all these different celebrities that she worked with, and she's been a makeup artist for so many years, and like it had her bio, okay, like her, I was like, hey girl. And so I learned about Charlotte Tilbury before I purchased her products, and that's what I do with brands I don't know. Look up for Natasha. At the time, the only website that had any information on Natasha Denona was Natasha Denona herself. The only thing Beautylish had were the palettes. Barely any details, no ingredients on the palettes either. It was just the palette, buy it or don't buy it. And Natasha Denona was the only one. And still, to this day, I went searching for somebody else to have a bio on her. Somebody else saying who she is, show me her works. It's just on her website. Go on, go Google it. Google it for me. So anyway, she created our excitement, right? Natasha Denona responded to this Danielle girl, which is where it got saucy. She says, and I'm going to read this. She says, thank you, Danielle. In fact, I saw Fancy Face's video yesterday. Bear in mind, my video was posted about 2 days before that. So she went searching for videos reviewing her products. Okay, you went out of your way to find me. Let's put that into perspective, okay? She didn't tag me. She didn't at me. She just says Fancy Face, right? She said many untrue things without any professional knowledge. I didn't know I needed professional knowledge to do some mathematical calculations about the price point of your products and not knowing who the hell you are. I didn't know I needed to fact check that. Oh yeah, Natasha, talk to me. Then she says it even starts by saying with full confidence that I'm born in Israel. It really wasn't full confidence, Natasha. And here she's trying to use the argument by fallacy, where you get 1 point probably wrong in your argument, and that's supposed to negate your entire argument, which means that 1 point that you got wrong means everything else about what you have to say now is wrong. And that's what she's trying to pull here. She's trying to say just because I got where she was born wrong means that anything else I have to say is invalid. This is what she's trying to do here. She goes on to say, well, I was born in Croatia and I was raised in Germany until the age of 18, just as an example of how she didn't even make a basic research about anything. No, Mega, keep going. Then she said, regarding the ingredients she mentioned, she's talking about effects certain ingredients make, and we couldn't believe how she presents false facts with such confidence. Unbelievable. What? False facts in saying that people have talc sensitivity and parabens. People have sensitivities to parabens, and that parabens is a very cheap preservative that's used in most makeup products. No, false facts. Alternative facts. She said, what? Saying we didn't write the ingredients in our website because we want to hide something? When you don't have the ingredients on your website. Is this a fact or not? Me don't know why you don't have it. Why you can't disclose the ingredient? Why is that? You tell me why that is. She mostly talked about the packaging and bloggers that were paid saying positive things about the palettes. Even here she was very wrong because Jaclyn Hill and Kathleen Lights bought the palettes. Please go and watch my video. I'm gonna link it below. Me not even call Jaclyn name or Kathleen Lights name because I never even see them video. Me not see nothing from Kathleen Lights or Jaclyn Hill about them palette. I didn't say anything like that. So now she's twisting it to make it sound like I'm saying things. I never said you paid anybody, sweetie. I really didn't. Anyway, then she go, and they still announced them as their favorite and best of 2014. We're gonna go on. I don't think I want to comment to Fancy Faces. She's not a pro. Walana. I know the real fact that all the most professional MU artists, world's biggest bloggers, and my customers that actually have the palettes are in love with them. I'm concentrating on these positive people. And last and not least, talc. If she would have made a chemistry research, then she would have discovered that all high-end talc ingredients such as mica, there are so many talc levels, are called talc and must be written in the ingredients list first. No, I want to repeat this. She says all talc ingredients must be written on the ingredients list as first by Italian law. In fact, most of my eyeshadows are talc free, especially the sparkly pearly ones. So let's address what she said there. She said, I am not a pro. And I'm reading into it. She's saying I'm not a professional makeup artist, so my points aren't valid. So unless you're a professional makeup artist, you shouldn't say anything about her products. You shouldn't review her products because you're not a professional. Your points aren't valid. Yet, her products are being sold on Beautylish and Sephora, which are, as far as I know, doing my research, these are consumer-based websites. They are selling to consumers just like me and you who aren't professional MUAs. If she was just selling to MUAs, then she should concentrate on selling on Alcone or Friends Beauty and those places that cater to makeup artists. Maybe you shouldn't be trying to push your products on consumers through these consumer websites, since if you're not a professional makeup artist, you shouldn't be using and reviewing her product. That's what she's saying. Yet she mentions Jaclyn Hill and Kathleen Lights by name. Now, Jaclyn Hill used to work at, I believe she worked at MAC. I don't know if she worked at Sephora, and she was a freelance makeup artist for a while. And Kathleen Lights has never been a makeup artist. She only does makeup on herself. And she will even admit, Kathleen Lights is the first one to tell you that she's not great at doing makeup. One of her recent videos shows like she doesn't even know how to do a cut crease. She's a very simple girl, Kathleen Lights. And for her to bring Kathleen Lights into this, I'm like, ooh, Kathleen Lights is the first one to tell you she's not a pro MUA. So who? Jaclyn Hill doesn't even call herself an MUA anymore. She used to do makeup, but not in a really serious professional capacity. She was working at MAC, but she wasn't working on runways and fashion shows, and she wasn't working Fashion Week, and she wasn't working in TV or movies. Like, she wasn't like a seasoned makeup artist, and she will say this to you. So why are you using her to bash me as if I'm not good enough because I'm not a professional makeup artist? That means I can't have an opinion on your product because I don't work runways and photo shoots. That's what you're saying while you're selling your products to consumers, right? I'm just here like, wait a minute, that's who you're marketing to. And then you're saying that, oh, the professional makeup artists love your palette, right? Professional makeup artists, let me tell you something about professional makeup artists. They like simplistic, basic ass packaging because they have to carry it around. It has to be in their kits. If you're doing a consumer product with such a high price point, think YSL, you will have beautiful palette packaging because you're trying to appeal to those consumers. If they're gonna pay that price point, they expect something expensive and luxurious because it's a luxury price point. Obviously, a makeup artist can take a friggin' stock plastic palette as long as it's portable and secure. They have no issues with it, so your points are not valid. And then, oh, the kicker is that I said about the ingredients. Again, watch my video and say what I said about the ingredients. I didn't even get into the meat of ingredients because I do not have a chemical background. I'm just talking about the fact that people have sensitivities to certain ingredients. I myself am evidence of that sensitivity. So then the Danielle girl comes back on and she's like, oh my God, this is why I love you. And she's talking about some BS, blah, blah, blah. No one cares. And then she goes on, blah, 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 blah. She's super unprofessional in her videos. Again, I will post the screenshots. Just, you know, look through them. And then Natasha comes on and responds to the Danielle girl. And she's like, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yes, we did change the shadows. Switch to substitutes for parabens because people are feeling skeptical about it. So the same thing that I mentioned in my video is the reason you changed your eyeshadow formula to paraben free. But me saying it is a problem. But you changed the formula because other consumers didn't like the parabens in your products. Do you see where this is just not aligning for me? It's a non sequitur. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't compute. Like, you're mad at me for saying your products have parabens in it, but yet you switched the formula because people didn't like that it had parabens. But you're attacking me for being unprofessional, right? Then, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes, but that doesn't matter anymore. And she accusing you of being mean, commenting. Remember when I had said to that person, oh, you going in like you would think you're Natasha herself, how you're defending her in my video. She goes, oh my God, OMG, pathetic. Hello? Oh my God, did you call me pathetic? OMG. So, my subscribers were like going through and saying, hey, you know, we talked about your pricing. You're a no-name brand that just came out. No one knows who you are, why your price is so high. And she responded to them like she was very dismissive. And she said something about how there are real pearls in her products. Real pearl, which part? It's mica, it's mica. It's a rock. It's a mineral rock that you ground up. Like, you mill it. It's not freaking pearls. Stop it. You're trying to make it sound more than it is and how it's expensive. I don't disagree that her formulation may be a little bit more expensive than a typical formula, but don't like say that to me. Try to justify that. Tell me that the ingredients, blah, blah, blah. But you came off like mad defensive and just dusty. So you're going to call me unprofessional. Which I think it was more like, oh, you're not a professional MUA. But it's like, I'm if I do my research and how I don't know what I'm talking about and how now I'm pathetic too. Ooh. So, yeah, that's what went down on Instagram. And I'm like, she didn't delete the post. She didn't delete the comments. In fact, after everybody was going in, because my subscribers, my viewers, my followers on Instagram, I posted, I was like, ooh, Natasha Denona coming for me. Because again, I was studying for my midterm. So that's what I posted. And I went back to studying. Like, I didn't look at this post again until Saturday after my midterm. Because I got to focus. Like, I am not here for you. I'm going to focus. So my viewers were going in on her, right? And they weren't being rude. That's the thing. Like, they weren't being rude. They were asking valid questions. Like, they're saying, listen, don't be talking mess about my girl. She's asking, she had valid points in her video. So then you give us the real thing then. Since she don't know what she talk about, you tell us for real what's going on. And then finally going back and forth with this Danielle girl and another one that was a minion, like arguing, like they were arguing with my people. I'm like, ooh, and that's what I don't want. That's what I don't like. Like, I don't want you guys to fight my battles. I don't want you to get involved in negativity over me, you know? And I know you guys want to support me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much, but I never want to bring negativity to you guys and have you have to contend with trolls and minions and people that really have no form of critical thinking. I don't want you to contend with that, because my audience is very mature, very classy. I mean, no one was going in and being rude and weren't using curse. Like, they were very classy in their responses. And I admire you guys. Like, you don't even know how you guys motivate me and inspire me by just being so mature and classy. And I just love you guys. And I mean, intelligent women responding. And it was... that's why I didn't really do a video right away, because I'm like, no, I don't want to contain this. And I could have done a video and done the whole viral thing about being negative and calling out a brand, and it's just not me. So I never did that, and I would not do that because I just don't want to do that, you know what I mean? But that's what happened with Natasha Denona. And the thing is, after that happened, I emailed Beautylish customer service. I gave them the screenshots. I said, you know, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I'm not really trying to blah blah blah. And then they responded, the customer service person responded like in 24 hours. They're like, oh, Nils, the owner of Beautylish, will email you if you want to set up a call, because they were taking this serious. And this is why I was like, oh, Beautylish, blah blah blah. All he said to me, guys, Nils from Beautylish, all he said to me was, oh, well, you can return the palettes if you're not happy with them. I done returned them already. Oh, you can return the palettes if you're not happy with them. You know, we know Natasha. We've dealt with her. We've been in business with her for a couple of months now. And we know this is not really like her. You know, she's a really great person. She's da-da-da. So I'm like, did you reach out to Natasha and say, hey, we got this complaint? No, you just came and defended her again because you want to line your pockets. Instead of having her reach out to me directly, you just went with it. Well, you know, from what we know, she's a nice person, OMG. And I was on the edge with Beautylish after that, because I'm like, that's all he could have said to me. That's all he could have said to me. And then Natasha ended off the post by saying, oh, I don't want any more negativity in the comments. I don't want this back and forth. I hope we can resolve this. And I hope the fancy face and I can resolve this when at IMATS she'll come meet me and talk to me in person. Oh, no, she not at me now. I've been waiting on an email, because I've been waiting on a DM, because it's easy to DM somebody. I've been waiting. Oh, no, I'm going to hear from Natasha. So if she want to resolve something, why hasn't she said any? She has never reached out to me. Beautylish never reached out to her to reach out to me. And then she want to meet me. What she has said, cash me outside. Because if you want, listen, Natasha, me nah come IMATS for come look for you. If me I go IMATS, me I go makeup forever. Me not coming to deal with you. If me I go IMATS, me I go over Anastasia Beverly Hills. Me I go support people who are positive. People that I like, not people who come off and tell them, cause they're paying customer, come buy the thing myself. Paying customers that their points aren't valid because they're not a professional MUA. Oh my god. And the whole thing is about, oh, let me wrap it up with this. The whole thing about, oh, she born in Croatia and she grew up in Germany and then she moved to Israel. Let me tell you something. Go up on our website. Click the About page, because that's the only place you can find a bio on her. This is the only place you're going to find things on her. Natasha Denona bio. And if you find it anywhere else, it's a copy of what she has on her website. It starts out by saying, oh, she does this. She has an Israeli based company. It's in Tel Aviv. She have our beauty company. She win must have some Israeli like makeup awards or whatever. So it's like, it was in my head, stuck in my head, that she's Israeli. She moved to Israel at 18, right? She has her company based in Israel. So I took it for granted that she was Israeli. Further down, you can read it. I read this. I was just, she born in Croatia and she go by Germany and re. But I glazed over that. So when I was recording the video, a slip of the mind just said, oh, she's Israeli. My bad. I can admit that that was incorrect. It's not an alternative fact, it was just incorrect. But like she pressed, like she kept saying that as if that validates or invalidates my arguments. Like anything else I had to say was invalidated by that one fallacy. If that made you feel better, Natasha, good for you. But that's why I don't support Natasha Denona. Long story, but I feel like this is a whole story time video, and I'm gonna leave it long because I know you guys don't mind long videos, so I'm gonna leave it long so we can talk about the things. We're gonna talk the things. So that's what happened with Natasha Denona, and that's why she will never get my money, especially at those price points. And she started selling her products at Sephora. Why? I know I'm not seeing nothing out of stock or sell out. And it's funny because the people that are talking about the palettes and are doing reviews are people that were sent the palettes, right, for PR. Whether it was through Sephora, Beautylish, or Natasha herself, she sent these palettes to them. Okay, they didn't have to pay the $239. They didn't have to pay the $195. They didn't have to pay the $165. However much our product costs. They didn't have to pay. So it's easy when you don't have to pay for a palette to say you like it. And the funny thing is her star palette, and I love this, Luster Luxe. She's pretty unbiased. She doesn't just do reviews and say I love this product. She actually was like, listen, I like this side of the palette. I think there were 16 eyeshadows or 18. I think it's probably 18 eyeshadows. And she's like, I like this side of the palette. I don't like the rest of it. And would you spend $165 for a palette that you like 9 shadows out of? So you're going to use those 9 shadows, but the others won't get used? Think about it. As a consumer, does that make sense to you? I don't care how expensive your formula is. If you're any kind of good business person, you understand the economies of scale. So to produce a single eyeshadow in a single pan form obviously is going to be more expensive than producing one in a palette form, because now you're saving on the actual packaging itself. You're also saving on production. You make more, you can buy more ingredients in bulk, you can produce more, and therefore your cost will be minimized. It's the economies of scale. That's just how it works. So if you're selling these palettes, you can't tell me that Marc Jacobs can release a 20 eyeshadow palette with very nice eyeshadows and sell it for $99, but you're releasing a palette with 18 eyeshadows and you have to sell it for $165. You not do something right, or you trying to pull the wool over our eyes and pretend that that markup isn't significant. It is highly significant. So just fall back, Natasha. Fall back. If I'm going in on you, I could go hard. When I Jamaican Tracy and done you, it's not a question, but I don't want to do that on my, like, that's not how I want to come off. You know what I mean? So just fall back. And really, it's water under the bridge, but of course I'm gonna speak my mind about it, and of course I still remember it. I'm not like, oh, forget you. No, I still remember it, and every time I see your products, I laugh to myself, and I'm like, look at this, I will never support you. And when people ask me about you, because there was even a Reddit post about it, like people reached out to me from Reddit and were like, oh, you want to comment? And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna leave it alone. And I even got on camera and made videos after, like a couple of days later after the whole thing happened. And I was so negative and so angry, and I recorded videos, like 3-4 videos. I did it different days. I was like, all right, maybe I calm down now, maybe. And it was just like, no, I don't want to put this kind of energy out there. So I never posted those videos. And my husband was like, you need to stop. And I'm like, no, I want to vent. And he's like, all right, vent. I'm like, I'm not going to post it, but I really want to vent. And I vented. I got it off my chest. I'm it done. But may I make on know the things. May I bring on the income. I'm a friend now. When I'm a friend and we are talking about the things. Why do I have swatches all over my hand? But we are talking the things, and I'm a friend, so I'm gonna talk hard chats, or when I talk to you guys, I'm making to know the things. So that's it. That's it. I'm done. Did you guys make it through a whole hour with me, or more than an hour? Me no know. But that's it. That's the background story of the brands I don't support. That was long. And yeah, I'm done. May I go home now. So thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.